Husband didn't even wish me on my birthday and instead gave away the gift I had asked for to his mom because we had a petty little fight a few days before my bday. So I pack my stuff and move out while he's at work, and now he's begging me to return because he didn't think I would take it this far. I, 33 female, had a really petty fight with my husband a couple of days ago, and 2 days ago, on my birthday, he didn't even bother to wish me because of it. The thing is, I'm trying to lose weight and get into shape because I have PCOS, and that's why I keep these small cups of Greek yogurt at home, because everyone knows how useful they are for anyone trying to lose weight. And I have told him many times that he has several other kinds of snacks that he can have whenever he feels hungry. But for a couple of months now, he just has my Greek yogurt whenever he feels like it, and then when I need it, I hardly have any left. Couple of days ago, after I came back home from work, I planned on having a little snack with yogurt, some honey and nuts. When I checked it, there was nothing left, and I was sure that I had 2 cups left over because I had made a mental note to buy some more cups in a few days. I was already very tired from work, and I was feeling cranky because I was hungry. So I just ended up picking a fight with my husband over this. I told him that it was not cool that he kept doing this, even after I had asked him to be a little more considerate because I was really trying to get serious about this weight loss thing. And this was just one thing that I was asking of him, and he couldn't even be bothered to care about it. All he had to do was get his own snacks and not touch mine. But he got worked up as well, and he told me it was not a big deal. And I knew it was a petty thing, but it just blew up into something bigger. We only stopped arguing when our 4-year-old son woke up and we put him back to his nap after dinner. But since then, we haven't spoken. I thought that things would go back to normal the next morning, but they didn't. I made it for a couple of days thinking that maybe he would fix it, but he didn't. And then my birthday came and went. And even then, he didn't speak to me, and that's when I got really hurt. Usually, he makes a big deal of my birthday, invites our friends and family for dinner and surprises me with some amazing gifts, but this year, there was none of that. I was really disheartened, and I cried myself to sleep that night since he was still sleeping on the couch. The next day, I found out that he had given his mom a gift on my birthday, and apparently, it was the one that I had asked for. That was pretty much the last straw for me, and I decided to confront him after I found out. The gift is this lovely pair of solitaire earrings that I had asked for about 2 months ago. I had been dropping hints like crazy that I wanted it, and I knew that he was going to get it for me. But yesterday in the morning when I woke up, I saw a post on Facebook from my mother-in-law, and she was wearing those exact pair of earrings, and in the caption, she had thanked her son for this random and completely unexpected gift. It really hurt me, and I confronted him about it, and that's when we finally spoke to each other after several days of ignoring each other. I was hurt that he had done something like this over a petty little fight that we could have easily solved. But he told me that I had overreacted and I had the opportunity to apologize, but I didn't do so. So it was crazy of me to expect him to do it. And if I was expecting him to apologize for anything at this point, he was not going to do it because he only did what he thought was right. So we had another fight, and then he decided to walk out. For the rest of the day, I kept trying to call him. I texted him 1,000 times, but he did not respond. I even dropped off our son at my mom's place so I could go and look for him personally. And I drove to so many places, still calling him and hoping that he would pick up, but he didn't respond. And in the evening, when I came back home, I finally gave up trying to contact him and started crying. I passed out on the couch crying. And at around 1 in the morning, he finally came back. But even then, he ignored me. He just walked into the bedroom and shut the door. And then this morning, he left for work even though I kept trying to talk to him. After he left, I had another crying session, and I didn't even know what to do. All I knew was that I was hurt, and he didn't seem to care. Neither did he care that our son was not at home since I had asked my mom to look after him for the night. He just didn't talk to me at all, and I didn't think that was right. So I packed up my stuff after crying, and I moved in with my mom as well. And then I blocked him everywhere because that's how hurt I am. Then in the evening, he finally showed up at my mom's house, probably after he realized that nobody was at home, and he started begging me to come back, saying that he was sorry about everything and that he felt guilty about everything. But now I was the one who needed some time. So I told him that I was not going back home, at least not for a couple of days. And he started guilt-tripping me, saying that I was the one who had started this whole thing. And now the least I could do was try to work things out with him. But I'm not ready, so I sent him away after a lot of fighting and tears. And now I'm questioning whether I did the right thing or not just now. I just feel confused about everything. And even my mom doesn't have anything helpful to say at the moment. So Ida for sending my husband away and saying I need time before moving back in with him? Update 1. So thank you for all the comments. I guess I needed some clarity on the whole situation. I think both my husband and I have been acting extremely toxic towards each other. And I guess we have some serious talking to do if we want things to work out. And we really do want things to work out. I mean, we have a kid together, and I think it would be for the best if we tried to work things out and move past this. I do agree that he has been very insensitive and that whatever we actually started fighting about, it doesn't even matter anymore because it has come to a level where that whole Greek yogurt thing seems like a small thing. It's been 3 days since I posted, and for those 3 days, he has been trying to get in touch with me non-stop. I unblocked him a couple of hours after I posted here because I was feeling seriously guilty about everything that was happening. And I also had no idea what to tell our son because he kept asking what was going on, and even he was very confused. I didn't reply to him for the past couple of days, but I did speak to him today, finally. I called him up this morning, and I told him that if he wanted to sort things out with me, then I was open to do so, and we could meet for dinner today. I chose a restaurant because I wanted a neutral location, and in an hour, he responded, and he told me that he would be happy to be there at whatever time I picked. So we got a call. We discussed the timings, and in a couple of hours, we're going to be meeting each other. And even though I have been with him for the past 7 years of marriage, 2 years of dating and 5 years of marriage, I feel unexpectedly nervous about agreeing to this today. I guess in the past few days, so much has come to the surface that I feel like I am going out on a first date with him once again. But I'm determined to lay it all out on the table and just have an honest heart-to-heart conversation with him no matter what. Because I think in the past few years, lots of things have changed, and we are no longer the people we used to be. In fact, I think we have become one of those stereotypical couples who let the romance fizzle out after a few years of marriage and 1 kid. And I don't want to be one of those people because I know marriage is like that. Maybe they last, but they don't make you happy. Or even worse, sometimes they don't even last at all. So I think both of us have to put in more effort into making each other happy like we used to before. We can't let our lives get in the way of our marriage anymore, and I'm going to make sure that I mention it to him today. I know that what's happened recently, it's not nice, but it's definitely not something that we cannot bounce back from. In fact, I know of several couples who have bounced back from worse. I'm just making all this clear because I know that a lot of people in the comments of my previous post had said that I should end this marriage and just walk away. But I don't think that's the right thing to do. I really do want things to work out, and I just hope that it does. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I'm heading out to dinner in an hour, and let's just hope that all goes well now. Update 2. Hey, so it's pretty late at night, but a few hours back, I came home from dinner with my husband. And I don't know exactly what to say about it because a few things are still complicated, but overall, I think I got whatever I wanted to say through to him. He was also very respectful of my opinions and how I felt, and he apologized wholeheartedly for behaving the way that he did. We started off with apologizing to each other because I think at this point in time, it doesn't even matter whose fault it originally was. Because if we want things to work out, we can't keep playing the blame game. We're gonna have to grow up and start acting like our age instead of acting like juvenile kids from high school. So that was one thing that we agreed on early in the conversation and agreed that that would make the rest of the conversation much easier to get through. So that's what we stuck to. The next thing that both of us agreed on was the fact that we had really let our romance fizzle out. We didn't care about our date night. We didn't care about making each other happy. All we cared about was getting through the day, and that's not going to work anymore. So we had a chat about it, and he told me that he thinks the best way to go about it would be to opt for marriage counseling. And I agreed with him. So we decided that we would start looking for couples counselors, and within the next 2 weeks, we tried to finalize someone. Then the next thing that we spoke about was what happened that night and about the gift. I told him that I was really hurt about it and that I couldn't believe that he would do something like this. I told him that he had taken it too far, and something as petty as a fight over Greek yogurt shouldn't have made him act like that. And I told him that I thought that he had overreacted to an insane degree. But at that point, he got kind of defensive, and even though he did admit his fault, I could tell that he had a lot to say that he was refraining from. At that point in time, though, things were going well. I did not want to pick a fight with him, so I just pretended like I didn't notice his change in attitude as soon as we started speaking about this. So that's the part that's still a bit complicated, along with the fact that I told him I still needed some more time. I couldn't just move back in with him and pretend that everything was okay, especially not right now when everything was still so fresh. I told him that I believe that taking some time apart would be better for all of us at the moment. But if he wanted to spend time with our son, he was completely welcome to come over after work or whatever he wanted to do. And he told me that he did not agree with that. He said that he wanted us to come back home the next day itself because he didn't think that taking more time apart was necessary. And he believes that moving back in would make it easier for us to talk and just sort everything out ASAP now. But I don't feel the same way. I think it's important for us to sort things out within ourselves before we start living together again. And I do think he has a point, but for now, we have just decided to take a couple of days apart and come to a decision about what we want to do. So that's what we talked about. We ended the dinner on a good note. For the most part, we were able to solve our problems, but I think some things are still kind of complicated. Like I mentioned at the beginning, now we're going to take a few more days apart and see how we feel about everything. Then, hopefully, We're going to move in together again and try to be a happy family once again. For now, I'm happy and content with how everything turned out, and, hopefully, things are only going to get better from this point onwards. Update 3. So it's been a couple of days, and today, we are finally planning on going back home. I spoke to my mom about everything that we had discussed over dinner the other day, and she told me that it was the right thing to do and I should go back home. After all, I have a son to think of, and spending too much time away probably wouldn't have a good effect on him. He was already very confused about everything that was going on. I did not want to extend that time period of confusion for him, so that's why I made this decision. I spoke to my son about it as well. I told him that we were going back home, and he seemed very happy to be spending time with his father once again. My husband did come over a couple of times in the past 4 days, but he's been busy with work since he has just been assigned a new project, so he hasn't been able to see much of us. Both my son and I are looking forward to living peacefully once again. And in a couple of hours, my husband's going to come over and pick us up since I had taken a cab here. In the past few days, we've been talking to each other a lot, be it over text or on phone calls or whenever he has come over. And I would say that things have pretty much gone back to normal. There's no remaining awkwardness or uneasiness anymore. I'm very grateful for that because I hadn't expected things to become normal so soon. Even then, I do think that we would do better with counseling because I think that we have only been able to solve the surface level problems. So we're still looking for someone, and as soon as we lock one person, we'll start our sessions. We still haven't spoken about the incident at length, so I don't know if he's still going to get defensive over it or not. And right now, I don't want to bring it up either because things are going well, and I don't want to ruin anything. It's not that I'm scared of bringing it up. I just think it's done and dusted, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. I did ask my mom about it because I had told her that he seemed very defensive when I brought up the incident and wanted to talk to him about it, and he didn't seem willing to discuss it at all. She told me that if we are doing fine right now, then there's no need for me to bring it up either, and I can just let it go now. So I guess that's what I'll be doing for now. Anyway, I still have some packaging left to do, so I'll get back to that. I'm happy that the situation is finally under control now. Update 4. Hey, so I'm finally back home. And today was a big surprise for me because my husband really went out of his way to make things up to me. We came back home around noon, and after that, I decided to take a nap and so did my son. Outside, he was so silent that we didn't even wake up while he was decorating the house. We only woke up around 4 in the evening, and when we came out, he surprised me and told me that he had invited a bunch of family and friends over to make it up for the birthday party that was never hosted. Alongside that, this was also a welcome home party, but only my mom and I would know about that. I was very happy. And then in a couple of hours, the guests started showing up and stuff. We had a really fun time at the party, and during it, he presented me with a really beautiful jewelry set. It included the pair of earrings that I'd asked for, along with a necklace that went with it and a bracelet and a ring, which were part of the same set. It must have been very expensive, but I literally didn't have any words to say at that point in time. I just teared up and thanked him. That gift in particular meant a lot to me, especially now, since we were trying to put in more of an effort for each other, and he was going out of his way to do things like this for me. Everyone else seemed touched as well. And after the party, my mother-in-law came up to me and told me that she wanted to speak to me in person. Okay, so here, I feel like I have to clarify something before I go on. I know that my husband had given her my gift, but she was never the one that I was upset with. She and I have actually had a very normal relationship, and she couldn't have known anything about the gift unless my husband had told her anything, so I didn't have a problem with her accepting it. Now coming to what happened, she came to me, and she returned the earrings that she had received and told me that her son had told her everything, and she just wanted to return it to me because she did not feel comfortable accepting it anymore. She told me that she was really happy that we had decided to work things out because, apparently, 2 days after the fight, he had visited his mom and told her everything, and that's when she found out about the earrings. And he had been very scared that I might not come back to him, and she was glad I did. At first, I wasn't sure if I should take those earrings back or not, but she insisted, and I ended up taking it back. And it was a really sweet moment. Then she left. After everybody had left and we had put our son to bed, I told my husband I was really thankful that he had done something like this for me. I also told him that his mom had given the earrings to me, and he told me that he was really happy about that as well. Because ever since he had given away those earrings, he had been feeling super uneasy about it since he knew exactly how much I had wanted them because I had been dropping hints about it nonstop. And just to spite me, he had given them away, but afterwards, he felt really petty and small about it. He had regretted it, so he had gone ahead and bought me the whole set just to make it up to me. But he was still very happy that his mother had tried to fix his mistakes as well. He said that he got really lucky regarding the woman in his life. We talked about the party, and then somehow we started talking about the incident that had led to our fight in the first place. We had a good laugh about the fact that we were literally fighting about Greek yogurt, and he told me that at the end of the day, he was the one acting a little insensitive about the whole thing. And he told me that the way he had behaved for the next few days, especially on the day of my birthday, was just not acceptable, and he was very grateful that I had chosen to forgive him instead of holding on to it. So I guess he's not getting defensive about it anymore, and I'm glad that I didn't bring it up with him because he brought it up himself, and the conversation that we had was way better. He acknowledged his mistakes again, so did I, and today, we have also been able to finalize the couples counselor that we will be going ahead with. We're going to speak to her tomorrow and lock the dates of our first session, and hopefully, we'll be doing even better than we were. I know there's no conflict as such anymore, but I'm still posting about it because I didn't talk about the fight to anybody else apart from my mom. And I don't want to bring these things up with my friends, but I guess I can't talk about it here. And I want to talk about it because I think it's important to know that sometimes giving your marriage a second chance is just as important as walking away, especially when it comes to things like this, small things that can be solved with a conversation or an apology. Anyway, that's my outlook on the whole situation. Everyone might not agree, but people seem invested in this, so I'm going to keep posting as long as people want me to. Update 5. Okay. So a couple of things have taken place, and I'm going to save the best for the last. So a couple of days ago, we had the party, and 2 days ago, we attended our first marriage counseling session together. It went really well. We were able to talk about a lot of things, and I think this was exactly what we needed. Of course, a lot of the things that we spoke about in counseling were things that we had already discussed for ourselves, but it didn't hurt to get the opinion of a professional, and I think we did well. We are going for our next session next week, and we are pretty excited for it because we just found out that I'm pregnant. I was a couple of days late, and I decided to take a test this morning, and that's when we found out. It almost seems like a miracle because we have been trying on and off for the past few years for another baby. Our first child had been a total surprise, but this one, we wanted to plan ahead for. And even before we got married, my husband and I had always said that we wanted 2 kids, but for the past couple of years, we have been trying for a few months and then letting it go because it was just not working out. Then a couple of months ago, I had my PCOS diagnosis, and that made me realize why it was proving to be so difficult for me to conceive this time around. We had almost given up hope, and we decided that we were just going to stick to our son and not try for any more kids anymore. But then this happened today, and I don't know. I'm just overjoyed. I don't even know what to say anymore because this is not something that I had been expecting. It also makes sense why I had been so moody and irritable for the past couple of weeks. I was pregnant and I had no idea. When I told my husband about the test, he was even happier than me, if that was even possible. He literally started jumping for joy, hugging us all, and there were a lot of tears of joy. Knowing that I'm pregnant makes it even more worth it, that I decided to give my marriage a chance again instead of just walking away over something like that. Both of us are really happy that we picked this time to work on our marriage and fix the unsaid and unaddressed problems because by the time our baby comes along, we want to be better partners to each other so we can be better parents as well. And, of course, it goes without saying that I'm going to be more health conscious now, so I guess my husband will do better if he just stays away from my Greek yogurt for now. Anyway, I'm just really happy and grateful about literally everything at the moment. Update 6. Hi, guys. So it's been close to a year since my last update, and in between, I totally forgot to post here at all. I got busy with my pregnancy, counseling, my family, and, of course, my work. But a couple of months ago, I finally gave birth, and this time, I had a daughter. Everyone in the family is super happy. My son is so excited to be a big brother, and he takes really good care of his little sister as well. Both my mom and mother-in-law were overjoyed to become grandparents for a second time. And if I'm being honest, the past few months have been nothing short of blissful. Counseling is going really well, and I think both my husband and I have become better partners to each other, the way we used to be in the beginning after we started attending these sessions, and I'm really grateful for it. We got our spark back, and we are not taking each other for granted anymore, and we're definitely putting an effort to keep the romance alive. Even after 2 kids, we have also decided that the first pair of earrings, the one that my mother-in-law had returned to us, is going to be kept aside for our daughter so she can have it when she's old enough. I think it's going to be the most befitting thing to do, and we're also going to have a very funny story to tell her about the earrings as well. Anyway, I just logged in to post this, and now I had better get back to my family.